Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this video we'll be working on this beautiful knitting stitch pattern. This pattern can be used in your both ladies and gents sweater, and this is 16 rows repeat pattern, and you need to cast in multiples of 10 and plus 2 edge stitches, multiples of 10 and plus 2 edge stitches, and this is the way it looks like. See, I have done with the border. See, wrong side looks like this. Wrong side is all purl rows, so you will purl on every wrong side rows for this pattern or every other rows. See, so let's begin. For the demonstration I have 32 stitches on my needle, which is 10 plus 10 plus 10 30 and plus 2 edge stitches 32, and here I have already done my border. If you don't know how to knit this border, then I will leave the link in the description box below. See, so after you finish the border, now we're gonna knit 2 base rows. We're going to knit these 2 base rows only one time in this entire pattern, and after that we're gonna start the repeat pattern. So for the first base row, slip the first stitch, edge stitch, and then you knit these 2 stitches together first, and then without dropping off these 2 stitches you knit the first stitch again, like so. See, knit 2 together first, and without dropping off these 2 stitches you knit the first stitch again. See, knit 2 together first and then knit the first stitch, and you keep on doing this until the end of this row. So knit 2 together and knit the first stitch, knit 2 together and knit the first stitch, knit 2 together, knit the first stitch, knit 2 together, knit the first stitch, and we have here last 5 stitches. Knit 2 together and knit the first stitch, knit 2 together and knit the first stitch. Last stitch, your edge stitch, you knit. See, second base row, purl all stitches, slip the first one and then purl all stitches. And we have finished our 2 base rows. See, and then after these 2 base rows, now we're going to start the actual pattern from here. So for row 1, slip your first stitch as if to knit to get the smooth edge, and then knit 1, slip 1 and knit 1, and then start the repeat from here. For repeat pattern, we're going to do knit 2 together and knit the first one 4 times, knit 2 together, and then without dropping off these 2 stitches you knit the first stitch 1, 3 more times, knit 2 together and knit the first stitch 2, knit two together and knit the first stitch, 3, knit two together, knit the first stitch, 4. So we have done here knit two together and knit the first stitch 4 times, 1, 2, 3 and 4. And now we're going to do, flip the first stitch first, this stitch, and then we're going to knit the second stitch from the back side, and then we're going to do SSK. We're going to call it SSK for this pattern, right? So knit your second stitch first from the back side, and then without dropping off these 2 stitches, you knit these 2 stitches together through the back loop. We're going to call it SSK for this pattern. See, and drop off. That's the repeat pattern from here to here. Knit two together, and knit 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 1 time. This is the repeat pattern, and you're going to repeat this repeat pattern for however many repeat stitches you have. We have 1 more repeat, so we're going to repeat that 1 more time. So knit two together, and knit the first stitch 4 times, knit the first stitch, 1, knit two together, knit the first stitch, 2, knit two together, knit the first stitch, 3, knit two together and knit the first stitch, 4. See, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then knit the flip the first stitch first, like so, and then knit the second stitch first from the back side, and then SSK 1 time. See, we have done 2 repeats, 1 and 2, and after you finish all repeats for your last 2, 4, 6, 8 and 10, for this last 10 stitches we're going to do knit two together and knit the first stitch 4 times, and then knit these 2 stitches, knit as normal, right? So knit two together for the last 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 stitches, knit two together and knit the first stitch 1, knit two together, knit the first stitch 2, knit two together, knit the first stitch 3, knit together, knit the first stitch 4. See, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and your last 2 stitches you knit 1 and knit 1. Row 4, wrong side, purl all stitches. Every wrong side rows you purl all stitches. Row 3, slip your edge stitch as if to knit, and then now we're going to do knit the second stitch first, flip the first stitch first, knit the second stitch first from the back side, and then SSK 1 time, knit the second stitch first and then SSK 1 time, and then start the repeat from here. For repeat pattern we're going to do knit two together and knit the first one 3 times and knit second stitch and then SSK 2 times. So knit two together and knit the first one 3 times, knit the second stitch, sorry, knit two together and knit the first stitch 1, knit two together, knit the first stitch 2, knit together, knit the first stitch 3, and then now we're gonna do knit the second stitch first and then SSK 2 times. So flip the first stitch first and then knit the second stitch first and then SSK 1, knit this, flip your first stitch first and then knit the second stitch first, and then SSK 2. See, that's the repeat pattern from here to here after these 3 stitches. For repeat pattern we have done knit together and knit the first stitch 3 times, 1 2 3, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times, 1 2, and we're going to repeat that again. Knit together and knit the first stitch 3 times, knit together, knit the first stitch 1, knit together, knit the first stitch 2, knit together, knit the first stitch 3, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. Flip the first stitch and then knit the second stitch first and then SSK 1, flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch first and then SSK 2. See, we have done 2 repeats, and after you finish all repeats for a last 2 4 6 8 9 stitches you do SSK, knit together and knit together and knit the first stitch 3 times, knit together, knit the first stitch 1, knit together, knit the first stitch 2, knit together, knit the first stitch 3, and then knit the second stitch first and then SSK 1 time for a last repeat for a last 9 stitches. So knit the second, flip your first stitch and then knit the second stitch first and then SSK 1 time at last, and then knit your edge stitch. Row 4, purl all stitches. Row 5, slip your edge stitch and then knit 1, and then before we start the repeat we're gonna do knit the second stitch and then SSK 1 time. So flip your first stitch for SSK and then knit your second stitch and then SSK. See, and after these 4 stitches start the repeat from here. For repeat pattern we're gonna do knit together and knit the first stitch 2 times and then knit the second stitch and SSK 3 times. So knit together, knit 1, knit the first 1, knit together, knit the first 1, 2. See, and then now we're going to do knit the second stitch first and then SSK 3 times. Flip the first stitch and then knit the second stitch first and SSK 1, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and then SSK 2, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch first, and then SSK 3. That's the repeat pattern from here to here. These 2 stitches, knit 2 together and knit the first stitch 2 times, 1 2, and knit second stitch and SSK 3 times, 1 2 3. We have one more repeat, so we're going to repeat that one more time. Knit together, knit 1 2 times, knit the first one 1, knit together, knit the first one 2, and then knit the second stitch and knit SSK 3 times. Flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch first, and SSK 1, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch first, and SSK 2, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch, SSK 3 times. See, we have done 2 repeats, and after you finish your all repeats, for a last 2 4 6 8 stitches, for the last 8 stitches you knit 2 together and knit the first 1 2 times, one, knit 2 together, knit the first 1 2, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 1 time. Knit the second, flip the first stitch and then knit the second stitch first and SSK 1 time for the last 8 stitch, and then you knit the next stitch and then knit your 8 stitch. Row 6, purl all stitches. Row 7, slip the 8 stitch as if to knit, and then now we're gonna do knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. So flip the first stitch and then knit the second stitch first, and then SSK 1, flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch first, and then SSK 2. See, and now we're going to start the repeat. For repeat pattern, we're going to do knit 2 together and knit the first stitch 1 time, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times. So knit 2 together and knit the first stitch 1 and knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times. Flip your first stitch and knit the second stitch and SSK 1, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 2, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 4 3, and then flip your first stitch and then knit the second stitch first and then SSK 4. That's the repeat pattern. From here to here, knit together and knit the first stitch 1 time, knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times, 2 4, and we have one more repeat, so we're going to repeat that one more time. knit together and knit the first stitch one time, one, and knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times. Flip your first stitch first and then knit the second stitch and knit SSK 1, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 2, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 3, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 4. See, and then after you finish your all repeats, we have done 2 repeats here, 1 and 2, and after you finish all repeats for a last 2, 4, 6, 7 stitches, you knit together and knit the first stitch one time and then knit the second stitch and knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. So flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch, SSK 1, flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 2 and your edge stitch knit. See, row 9, slip the first stitch, edge stitch as if to knit and then knit 1 and then we're going to do knit the second stitch and SSK 1 time. So flip the first stitch and knit the second stitch and SSK 1 time. See, we have done slip the edge stitch and knit 1 and then knit the second stitch in SSK 1 time and then we're going to start the repeat from here. For repeat pattern, we're going to do knit together and knit the first stitch 1 time and then knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times again for this repeat. So knit together, knit the first stitch 1 time, 1, and knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times. Flip your first stitch, flip your first stitch, knit your second stitch first and SSK 1, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 2, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 3, one more time, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times. That's the repeat pattern from here to here. I have one more repeat, so we're going to repeat that one more time. Knit together and knit the first stitch 1 time, knit together, knit the first stitch 1 and then knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times. Flip your first stitch, knit knit the second stitch first and then SSK 1, flip the first stitch, knit your second stitch and SSK 2, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 3. One more time. Flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch, and SSK 4. See, we have done 2 repeats, 1 and 2, and after you finish all repeats for the last 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches, you knit together and knit the first stitch one time, and then you do knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. So knit together, knit the first stitch one time, and knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. Flip the first stitch, SSK 1, flip the first stitch, SSK 2, say, and then knit your next stitch and then edge stitch. Row 11, leave the edge stitch as if to knit, and then knit 2, knit these 2 stitches, 1, 2, and then start the repeat from here. After these 3 stitches, for repeat pattern, we're going to do knit together and knit the first stitch, knit together and knit the first stitch 2 times, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 3 times. So knit together, knit the first stitch 1, knit together, knit the first stitch 2, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 3 times. So flip the first stitch and knit second stitch and SSK 1, flip the first stitch and knit the second stitch first, and then SSK 2, flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch, second stitch and SSK 3. That's the repeat pattern from here to here. For repeat pattern, we have done knit together and knit the first stitch 1 time, knit the second stitch and SSK 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have one more repeat, so we're going to repeat that one more time. Knit together and knit the first stitch 2 times, knit together, knit the first stitch 1, knit together, knit the first stitch 2, and then knit the second stitch and knit the second stitch and SSK 3 times. Flip the first stitch and knit the second stitch, SSK 1, flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 2, and flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch, SSK 3. See, we have done 2 repeats, one repeat and second repeat, and after you finish all repeats for the last 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 stitches, for the last 9 stitches you knit together and knit the first stitch 2 times, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. Knit together, knit the first stitch 1 time, knit together, knit the first stitch 2 times, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. One, and 2, and knit your edge stitch. Row 13, slip the first stitch, edge stitch, and then knit 1, and after these 2 stitches start the repeat from here. For repeat pattern, we're going to do knit 2 together and knit the first stitch 3 times and knit second stitch and SSK 2 times. So knit 2 together, knit the first stitch 1, knit together, knit the first stitch 2, one more time, knit 2 together, knit the first stitch 3, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. Flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 1, flip your first stitch, knit the second stitch and SSK 2. That's the repeat pattern from here to here. After these 2 stitches, knit together and knit the first stitch 3 times, 1 2 3, and knit second stitch and SSK 2 times. Repeat that again. Knit together, knit the first stitch 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 2 times. Flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch, SSK 1, flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch, SSK 2. We have finished 2 repeats, 1, 1 and 2, and after you finish all repeats for the last 2 4 6 8 10 stitches, you knit 2 together and knit the first stitch 3 times, and then knit 1 2 3 times, and then knit the second stitch and knit 2 together, SSK 1 time. So knit 2 together, knit the first stitch 1, knit 2 together, knit the first stitch 2, knit together, knit the first stitch 3, and then knit the second stitch and SSK 1 time. Flip the first stitch, and SSK 1 time, and knit the next stitch and your edge stitch. Row 15, slip your edge stitch and then start the repeat from here after your edge stitch. For repeat pattern, we're going to do knit 2 together and knit 1 4 times. So knit 2 together and knit the first one 4 times, knit 2 together, knit 1 1, knit 2 together, knit 1 2, so knit the first one 2, knit together and knit the first one 3, knit together, knit the first one 4. See, 1 2 3 4, and then knit the second stitch and SSK one time. Flip the first stitch and knit second stitch and SSK one time. That's the repeat pattern. From here to here, knit together and knit the first one 4 times, 1 2 3 4, and knit the second stitch and SSK one time. Repeat that again. Knit together and knit the first one 4 times, 1 2 3 4, and then knit the second stitch and SSK one time. Flip the first stitch, knit the second stitch first and then SSK one time. See, we have done 2 repeats, 1 and 2, and after you finish your all repeats for your last 2 4 6 8, so we have another repeat here. So for another repeat that again. We have enough stitches for another repeat, so we're going to repeat that last time. So knit together and knit the first stitch 4 times, 1 2 3 and 4, and then knit the second stitch and SSK one time. Flip your first stitch and then knit the second stitch and SSK one time. See, and then knit your edge stitch. Row 16, last row for all stitches. So we have finished our last row, row 16 as well, and we have finished one repeat pattern. See, it looks like this. This is one repeat. See, now after you finish your last row, now you're going to continue repeating your row 1 to row 16 until you reach your desired length. See, so here I have done 2 repeats. This is 1 and this is 2. See, so please give it a thumbs up if you like this beautiful pattern, and also subscribe to my channel. So I'll see you in my next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.